Today we got an all new segment. Today we're going to talk about how I got my Nissan 300ZX. What's up guys, welcome back to Horsepower Cartel. Today we got an all new segment called Cartel Car Stories. Now this is going to be a very similar segment to what Vinvicky has, but of course we live in India, so it's going to be a little different. I'm going to try my best to give you the best car stories possible from all around India, all car enthusiasts, from the new car enthusiasts all the way up to the OGs. And we got some crazy stories from all these people, so we got a lot lined up. Hope you guys enjoy it. This is what I was talking about last time on the Lexus vlog, that we have a new segment coming up. So yeah, by the way, comment below, who would you like to see from the car scene come do stories? We got a lot of people coming up, so stay tuned. Yeah, enjoy. This is the first episode, so you know, go easy on me. All right, it's just me and Ruel. My first time doing it. All right, so a lot of you guys might not know, but I deal in high-end luxury cars, sports cars, supercars. I own a company called Limitless Luxuries. I used to have a showroom back in 2015. I actually started dealing in cars with a childhood friend of mine. We went ahead and opened up a showroom in 2016. Did pretty good. You know, we had the showroom for about 2 years, but unfortunately for some issues with the location we had to leave because the landlord needed the place. It was complicated. Anyways, we moved out of that scene, and right now I'm just, you know, we're looking for a spot to open up. COVID hit us. We didn't get a chance to open up another spot. So right now we're probably going to open up another showroom, you know, hopefully, let's see. Anyways, so yeah, I've been dealing in cars, and today we're going to talk about how I got my Nissan 300ZX. A lot of people ask me how you drive a left-hand drive car in India, why does it have California plates, why is it registered in Tamil Nadu, why is it registered as a Maruti 800. All those questions are going to be answered today, so yeah, let's get started. So as I said, I deal in high-end luxury cars and sports cars and supercars, and sometimes even antique cars. We invest in them and we sell them, obviously, but I'm also a car enthusiast myself, so sometimes, you know, work with passion gets mixed up, and I tend to make a lot of bad decisions and end up making losses, but it's pretty good, you know, it's pretty cool, whatever, man. You learn from the experiences, and trust me, I got a lot of stories and a lot of experiences to tell you guys. So anyways, we're going to talk about my Nissan. I have a partner of mine named Armand. You might have seen in the vlog, we went to Pune in the G-Wagon. This guy can find you any car, man, seriously. One day he hits me up. He sends me pictures of twin turbo Targa top 300ZX. First of all, he sent me the pictures. I didn't know if it's a twin turbo. I didn't even know if it's the Targa top. The car looked clean. I was like, go ahead, call for engine bay pics, because obviously if it's a VGD TT, it's a twin turbo, and it mentions that it's a twin turbo on the valve cover. You know, it says V6 twin turbo, 3000cc. He sent me pictures of the car. We spoke to the owner. We got in touch with him, asked for engine bay pictures. And I'm like, wow, it is actually a twin turbo. And seeing this car here is a big deal, you know? You don't see these cars, usually you see like Supras and, you know, 3000 GTs, Miatas, you know, a lot of these JDM cars. With the 300ZX, you actually don't see many of them. There's probably about 6 to 8 300ZXs that I know of in India. There's about 3 left-hand drive ones, but I happen to have, as far as I know, I happen to have the only left-hand drive Targa top twin turbo. There is an automatic left-hand drive 2+2, which is basically a longer wheelbase 300ZX, believe it or not. It's actually, I think, 4 to 6 inches longer, and it actually hold people in the back. It actually has back seats. And don't quote me on the 4 to 6 inches. That's what I think it is. Anyways, so and then there's another black one, I believe, which is left-hand drive, which is NA, and it's, I think, a slick top or hard top. Fortunately, own the only left-hand drive twin turbo Targa top 300ZX in the country. Now let's talk about how this car made it to the country. It being a car actually registered in the United States, used in the United States, bought brand new in the United States, and used obviously up until 99, or I think 98, when the car was imported from California to Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore. Previous owner, the first owner, used to live in America. He's all his life, you know. He bought the car back in January of 95, and he used it for 4 years, about 3-4 years he used it, I think, and then he decided to just shift to India one day, and he was fortunate enough back then you were allowed to ship cars if you give up. I think you still could probably do it. You're allowed to give up your U.S. passport, and if you had a car on your name, titled to your name, you can actually import it. Now, this is not a CarNet. This is actually a program which the Indian government has for people shipped from overseas. They can bring the car over with them. Back then, You can still do this, but they stopped importing left-hand drive cars, by the way. You can't import left-hand drive cars. I think that rule was in 2003, they stopped it. Now every left-hand drive car you see, majority of it, imported after 2003, majority of it obviously is coming on CarNet, which is basically you can have it over here from another country, whether it's UK or Dubai or whatever. You can bring it over Australia, you can bring it over on CarNet for 3 to 6 months. So that's how the previous owner, the first owner of the car, brought it over. He had it in 99, it came over to India, 98 or 99, got registered here. He drove it for up until, I think, he had it for a while, I think up until 2011. And then a friend of mine named Philippos Matay, he's also a car enthusiast. He ended up buying the car, he had it for a bit, and then he drove it actually from Coimbatore to Mumbai, and I think even Delhi. He stays in Delhi, so I don't know. I have to ask him if he actually drove from Coimbatore to Delhi. But I know he did a big road trip. The story's actually on Team BHP. You can go check it out. He drove from Coimbatore to Mumbai, and the car drove there flawlessly. So the car has always been in good hands. Then he sold it to another rally driver, also car enthusiast named Abhishek in Jaipur, and that's where we got the car from. It was well taken care of. There's always car enthusiasts looking after the car. So when I went there, so we find out the car is in Jaipur. Believe it or not, the car wasn't even for me. The car was for a friend. As soon as I saw pictures of it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. At the time, I had a 95 or a 94 Civic EG 4-door, a Fiero, whatever, Ferio, whatever you want to call it. It had a B16 Type R engine with a huge turbo on it. It was turbo. It was probably making close to 350 wheel horsepower. It was quick. So I had that project lined up. I also had a nice 3 Series back then. Some of my old Instagram followers might know. But I had a really cool looking 3 Series. It had the M kit, I had a stage 2 tune on it, I had a stage 1 tune on it, and some nice BBS wheels, and it looked pretty cool, So, and I used to be really into bikes back then. I had about, owning a showroom, I had about 4 bikes, and then my personal bikes, I had like 2 bikes, I think. I had a Busa and a Harley Davidson Night Rod, probably one of the coolest bikes I ever owned. So anyways, so I wasn't really looking to get another car, so I offered it to one of my friends, and I'm gonna say who he is from the car scene. Hopefully we can get him here one day, and he can probably tell you the whole story itself, how he missed out on this car. But anyways, I offered it to my friend who's actually into his cars, and he's a collector himself, and he has a few old JDM cars. He's like, go fly over there to Jaipur, check it out, let me know how it is. So honestly, I went there with the intention, me and Rahman flew over there with the intention to get it for my friend who's interested in buying it. We go to Jaipur, we fly in. First time going to Jaipur, by the way. I've never been to Jaipur. Yeah, Jaipur's an interesting place. It's like you rarely see now the parts of Jaipur where I went, you rarely see fancy cars and stuff. But fortunately, we had a friend over there who linked us with the owner directly. His name is Abdul. Shout out to my boy Abdul. He has a vintage car garage as well, so it was pretty cool. I wish I used to vlog back then, because it would have been some cool content. We gotta get out to Jaipur and shoot some content for you guys. But anyways, so we get to the car, we see it physically from the outside, cosmetically. It had a few nicks and scratches. It had some aftermarket exhaust on it. It wasn't my cup of tea. The owner was in love with it for some reason. It didn't sound like it. It sounded like crap. It sounded like a Ricer, actually. Compared to how it sounds now, it sounded really bad. Yeah, we tested over the car. Right away, I noticed, everything works. The mirrors work. The power windows are working completely fine. The only problem in the car, I think, the brake lights weren't working and needed a new bulb. Other than that, no check engine light, nothing. And the car was well taken care of. The guy had all the paperwork from the previous owner, from the first owner. It had, I still have the original manual, obviously, receipts from when he used to get service back in America. I think I even have the original invoice. I'll have to look for it. And yeah, it's actually, like I'm saying, it was well taken care of. Enthusiast owned it, so I got really lucky. So yeah, so we see the car, I give a token. My friend's a yes or no if he wants to buy it or not. And I'm like, this car is really good. I get back to Mumbai and I'm just like, this car is really good. We can't let it go, especially for the price it's coming in. I think it's going to be worth a lot someday, in a few months or a few years, who knows. got the car back to Mumbai, took it for a spin. Right now, I'm still in two minds if I want to keep it or sell it. So I meet up with my friend, and that night I got to drive the car. I took the tops off, since it's a Targa top, put it back in the trunk, and I was just like, wow, this car is really cool. It's probably one of the coolest cars I've owned in a while, And growing up, I love my JDM cars. You put your Italians, supercars, German supercars, whatever. I'm a JDM guy at heart. As you can tell now, with the recent purchases, not about reliability or anything. I was always been a JDM guy. I don't know why. So I already had the soft corner for me and being a JDM car. Later on in the night, I met up with my friend, and I'm driving this car. I'm like, yo, this thing is cool, man. Like, in a place like Mumbai, like everyone's looking at you because it's got that really exotic, sleek design. Especially as being a supercar from the '90s, the tops come off, and everyone's just coming up. They're like, what the hell is this thing? Especially being left-hand drive, My buddy goes for a test drive. He comes back and he's like, do you still want to sell it? And I'm like, no. I don't want to sell it. So I ended up keeping the car. It was called Cobalt Green, the original color. I ended up painting it a pearl white, which is actually GTR color. But instead of a little gold flakes or some other flakes the GTR comes in, I decided to blue flakes. But it is a pearl white. We went ahead and then with the wheels white as well, because you gotta give it that JDM look. I took the first drag race in March of 2017. Right after I got the car. I got the car in January of 2017, so it's been 4 years now. Almost 4 years and a month since I owned the car. It is the longest period of time I've owned a car, that's 4 years. Can you believe it or not, Ruel? Out of all the cars I've ever owned. Even in my family, I think. So yeah, we painted it white. I went ahead and did stage 2 mod, downpipe, exhaust, did an air intake, did a custom tune on it. Car is making about 330 to 350 to the wheels, which is a lot. It's not a light car, but it's not a heavy car neither. Plus it being a manual gearbox, it holds its own, It's pretty cool, pretty quick. Yeah, the upgraded clutch, lightweight flywheel. It's a pretty nice car. And I just knew that it could possibly beat a lot of sedans, super saloons out there, possibly even supercars. When my car was running right, I'll just name the kill list real quick, C63, Porsche 911s, not the turbo obviously, but Porsche 911, I'm not gonna say which one, a few RS5s, and a few R8s as well. And kept up with the Gallardo, a newer Gallardo too. So yeah, I was doing pretty good. Right now the car, or actually after 3.5 years, decided to repaint the car. Had to go with something period correct. So we went ahead, did the Amethyst black, like as you guys saw recently, and did the wheels in gold. And yeah, right now my plans with the car is to get it working properly, man. It needs a tune really bad. We're having some issues with the car running really rich. Other than that, it has enough power to get it sideways. I love going sideways in this thing. It still pulls pretty good, on some days. It could keep up with a few modern cars. So far, so good. Enjoying the car. So yeah, you guys love it too. So definitely become my icon for the JDM scene in India. Everyone knows about this car. People know about this car. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I was in Goa recently at a restaurant with my friend, and it was New Year's night. We randomly ran into some people from Kerala. They were car enthusiasts. They were like, oh yes, what do you drive? I was like, yeah, I got a Nissan 300ZX. He's like, you're from Mumbai? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, you got that sick white one. I'm like, yeah, it used to be white. So he knew about my car, but he didn't know who I was. So like, yeah, that's how when you're in the car scene, your car becomes your image, like people know you for your car. So definitely it's been a part of me now. I got the E60 M5 after that, and that was quite an experience too. Definitely a big eye-opener, and definitely a big lesson to be learned when it comes to all these cars, and that's why I like my Japanese cars, reliable, easy to work on. I see a lot of you guys commenting as well, whether it's Instagram or my YouTube channel. They comment and say, oh, why is it registered as a Maruti 800? What kind of, jewel have you guys done to get it registered here in a left-hand drive car? Red flags go up. It's understandable. That's why I don't even comment back, because then I get in this long discussion with them. Why is it what? Everyone wants to be a cop when it comes to all these things. Anyways, so the reason that it is first of all, our technology is still 20-25 years behind when it comes to anything in India, especially when it comes to our regional transport office. Mumbai is somewhat, Maharashtra, our state is somewhat, back then was a little ahead of other states. So back then in the other states, cars used to get registered. They didn't have any computers, nothing. They used to go by weight class and payload or whatever for the cars. The reason why the 300ZX was registered as an 800 because that was the only thing closest to it in its weight category and size category or something. I know it's not a great explanation, but that's what I was told. The car's completely legal. I've also paid Maharashtra road tax for it, so there's nothing to worry about. It's getting transferred on my name soon. I've just been slacking, because once you get the Maharashtra tax, you don't have to worry about anything. Plus, I'm waiting for a very special registration number as well, and every time I go to register it on that number, it goes unavailable. So I'm also waiting for that number. So yeah, it's been good so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little story of my 300ZX, and there's a lot more stories coming up, so make sure you stay tuned. Comment below what you guys think of this new take on our vlog, on a new segment, Cartel Car Stories. A lot of my friends and car enthusiasts come up here and give us their stories as well, so stay tuned for that.